Well, a guy who used to sit right here on this couch with me during the 2016 football season has become just about one of the most prominent people in this country over the last few weeks, doing some very important work, and he is kind enough to join us for a few minutes this morning. Emmanuel Acho from, you might know now, Uncomfortable Conversations with a Black Man. Also, our new co-worker, FS1, Speak for Yourself. He's with us. Manny, it's good to see you.
Dave, it has been far, far too long, my friend. It is so good to be seen and good to see you.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Colbert, Good Morning America. Come on, you got to come back to Good Day Austin. That's where the action is. But we do want to talk to you about some really serious, again, and important work that you've been doing that has been received by millions upon millions of people. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, about 2 weeks ago, after the tragic death of George Floyd, I realized the racial divide is as strong and as present as ever in our country. And I wanted to do something about it, Dave. And so I realized, having grown up in white culture and having played in the NFL, I thoroughly understand both white culture and Black culture, Dave. And so I realized I could stand in the gap and bridge the gap and communicate the message that my Black friends have to my white brothers and sisters who can alleviate our problem in society. I posted my first video, Uncomfortable Conversations with a Black Man. It now stands at over 25 million views on my Instagram page, my Twitter page, and YouTube. The second video, Matthew McConaughey called me 4 days later. I don't know how he got my number. It was a no caller ID number. I pick up. He just says, "McConaughey here. I want to have a conversation." We dropped that video the following week. That video now has 7 million views. I have another episode coming out this week. I can't reveal yet who the surprise guest is, but it's going to be fun, man. It's been awesome to see the world change because I use my voice.
It has been amazing, man. And of course, from when you came back here 4 years ago and were hanging out with us and I started following you on social media and stuff, this is certainly not the first time you've talked about racial injustice, social justice issues. You've used that platform before in many other ways. It just really does seem like in so many ways the climate is so different now.
It really resonated this time around, Dave, and I'll be honest, it's because my white brothers and sisters are ready to receive the message. I think that's the difference this time around, is that, you know, my Black brothers and sisters have been yelling, have been crying out in pain and anguish, screaming from the mountaintops, but now is different. Because now it's as if, as a country, to a degree, we all at least want the same thing, which is unity. How are we all going to get there? That is the question. How are we all going to achieve unity, achieve equality? That is the question. But the greater majority of the country, they want it. Now it's just a matter of understanding how do we accomplish it. And that's what my videos have helped do. They have helped educate my white brothers and sisters so that we can continue to move forward on the same page.
Yeah, I got to tell you, that's certainly the case with me. And I'll even say this, before the Uncomfortable Conversations video, you posted just a different video, I think just sitting where you were right now, right after the news of George Floyd's death came out, where you basically said, hey, this doesn't change if white people don't speak up, if white people don't say something. And hearing it in that stark way certainly motivated me to say something. I mean, again, I don't know if I've heard that message delivered that way before.
It was a matter of, I felt called, Dave. I felt commissioned to deliver the message. It's not as if I was jumping for joy. Now I get the opportunity to do this. No, I was really burdened. I was vexed with the labor emotionally, physically, spiritually of, man, Acho, you have to act because I don't know who else will. And the first video was shot right here, just a plea, essentially saying, white people, we need your help. Then the second video was simply saying, educationally, like, let's understand, let's identify white privilege. Why do Black people think it exists? Why can Black people say the N-word, but white people can't? How come it appears as if only Black people care about only white on Black crime, not Black on Black crime? Dave, I wanted to answer so many questions that my white brothers and sisters had so that through true education, they could have true empathy and we could truly move forward together.
Yeah, and that's clearly what's happening. Again, you're not someone who's never been in the spotlight, high profile at Texas, playing in the NFL. You're on TV automatically anyway. But then all of a sudden, you can't go anywhere without seeing you talking and giving this message. Now, did that surprise even you, the way the platform grew that big that quickly?
Man, Dave, 25 million views in 2 weeks, that's going to surprise anybody.
Yeah.
Matthew McConaughey calling them, Jennifer Aniston reaching out to me on Instagram, talking to Gayle King, Robin Roberts, Stephen Colbert, and Oprah all in the same week. I had a 45-minute Zoom call with Oprah, Dave, like FaceTime Zoom, not just the audio.
No one's going to out name drop you anymore, Manny. You got it.
Like, Dave, if I were to say that I thought this would happen, I would be lying to your face. I didn't. But I did know there was a need, and I understood I can feel the need. So more than all the cool names, more than all the cool shows, Dave, I'm just honored to be a catalyst to help change the world for the better. And it's a blessing to be a blessing.
Well, okay, so again, it's in the title of your work, Uncomfortable Conversations, and I keep hearing that word again and again, uncomfortable. And you kind of got to be ready to be uncomfortable. I'll say I had a moment like that late Friday afternoon, early Friday evening, when that email was released by so many University of Texas athletes calling for some changes at the university, including doing away with the Eyes of Texas. And I had to sit in that for a while and be like, okay, you got to be uncomfortable no matter what comes and be willing to listen. What's your take on that movement, on the ask, and what do you see happening?
I'm incredibly proud of the young student athletes. I spent last night, my friends threw me a surprise going away party with the likes of Alex Okafor, Bozzie Whitaker, Jeremy Hills, Jordan Hicks. Those are some former Texas football players, and we just had a frank conversation. I played at Texas, obviously. I bled, I sweat, I cried just as much, if not more, than anybody else who's ever walked and played in that program. If that song makes student athletes feel a type of way, then I'm all for getting rid of it. That song doesn't define me. I did my time at Texas. I gave everything I had to that program. I broke bones. I tore ligaments. I got concussions for that program. And the people at Texas, that's who I care about. Those fans, that's who I care about. But if a song, if some words are making some feel inadequate, or ruffling the feathers for some, or eliciting a visceral reaction, especially to some who look like me and my dear brothers and my dear sisters, then what's a song at the end of the day, man? I care about lives. The University of Texas impacted me because of the people. The University of Texas didn't impact me because of a song.
Yeah, and we'll certainly watch where that goes from there. As that conversation continues. Real quick before I let you go, because we talk about changes like this, and that change you just laid out about the Eyes of Texas, where feelings are so strong, there'll be debates, things will go back and forth. But what is something that almost everybody can do right now, even a small step that could make the situation, the fight for racial equality, better right now? What's a small step people could take?
Educate yourself and then speak to your own community groups. For example, I've had these uncomfortable conversations with a black man so that my white friends can be educated and then speak out into their white groups that Emmanuel Acho will never be able to speak to. Your white group messages, your family group chats, your family reunions, your parents who may have some more racist ideologies. And then my black brothers and sisters laying aside their pain and anguish to continue to support the movement in a positive light and have the patience to educate their white brothers and sisters who were eager and yearning for knowledge and wisdom. And so I think there's two sides to the coin. We're fighting the same fight, but we must fight it differently. Everybody has to realize to fight in the best way they know how.
Good stuff. Good words from a guy who we will be hearing a lot more from. Talking about sports, too, on FS1 and just everything else around. We're excited to see what you do from here and hope to visit with you from time to time, Manny. Good catching up.
Thank you, brother.
All right.